kind of want to point out to everybody here what's at stake this week. And before I do, I want to point out what would have been, and we'll see after the weekend how it jumbles the picture that would have been right now. If the playoffs started tomorrow, if it started this very weekend, what a matchup we would have in the AFC. We would have not one, but two division battles. We'd have two battles in which both teams will be playing for a third time. How about Chiefs-Chargers 3? That's what we would have had if everything started this weekend and stopped right now. Patriots at Bills. Patriots-Bills 3. This is the way it would have gone. We would have been over and done with. The Colts would have been in the playoffs. They would be going to one Joey Burrow, who I proffer to say would be playing this weekend, and we would be talking about Joe Mixon being out with COVID. Because he is for this week, and we're apparently not going to see Burrow this weekend, as the Bengals are currently the 3 seed, and there are scenarios in which they can get the 1. Same for the Patriots, by the way. Same for the Chiefs. And the Titans would have had the 1 seed. They would have been off this weekend, and all they have to do is win this weekend against Houston, and that's the case for next weekend. And in the NFC, the Eagles would be flying out to Los Angeles right now to take on the Rams. Jalen Hurts, his first playoff game of his career, right here in Los Angeles, where the Rams would be the 2 seed if things ended today. How about Niners at Bucks? Who's in for that one?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Amazingly, the Niners at Bucks would have happened if the playoffs started this weekend. And even though the Eagles are lower than the 49ers on the seeding chart, they have somehow clinched a spot. The Niners have to play and win this weekend to assure themselves of getting in. That's what that 18th week and 17th regular season game has wrought for the Niners. Would have been in now, might not be in by the end of this weekend. And then we would be getting Cardinals-Cowboys as a repeat, which we could maybe get anyway, too. Packers definitely would have had the 1 seed, whether there wasn't this weekend or not. And we're not going to have these conversations in following years. We're just not. But right now, it kind of is germane to talk about. And later on in the show, we're going to talk about the records and whether there should be asterisks if they're broken this weekend. And there are a handful of significant records that can be broken, single season and rookie records that we're going to bring to the fore. But I just wanted to lay that out, what it is and would have been and what it will be. Because the Colts and the Niners have yet to clinch. And the Chargers, as we know, is currently your 7 seed in the NFC, have yet to clinch. And then you look at the schedule this weekend and, like, what is actually in this extra week, even though some of the extra games, as I mentioned, like Patriots and Cowboys have already been played. This is when we're playing another week of regular season action. Like, what matters? What has the extra week wrought in terms of what matters? And 3 games have 0 on the line, whether it's a playoff spot already for a team that is as good as they can possibly get, like Packers at Lions. Means nothing for the Lions, although there is still the first overall pickup for grabs. That game means nothing. And 2 others have absolutely, like, 0. Football team at Giants is 0. You also have Bears and Vikings. They're both out, even though Cousins is going to play. Like, Zimmer's like, okay, I'm going to go down with a win if I'm going to go down. 7 of the 16 teams games involve a team that can improve their seeding. They're already in, but can improve their seeding. And 6 of the 16 games involve a team that needs to win to make the playoffs, like Saints at the Falcons and Colts at the Jaguars, Seahawks at the Cardinals. Cardinals need that game to win the division. Niners, Rams, obviously Chargers and Vegas Raiders, and then there's the Steelers at the Ravens. That's a significant game, don't you think? Because the winner of that team, that game, has an opportunity to make the playoffs, and the other is out. Now, the opportunity to make the playoffs from that game is born out of Jacksonville beating the Colts. I love this stuff. I geek out on this stuff, by the way. It's also my job as a host at NFL Network on game day morning to know this stuff cold. So I looked this one up. Jaguars beating the Colts unlocks so much this weekend. It unlocks the Ravens playoff clinching scenario.
Right.
Okay. It unlocks the Steelers playoff clinching scenario. It unlocks the crazy ass tie scenario between the Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers, meaning that the winner of Ravens Steelers makes it if the Jaguars beat the Colts and Vegas and the Chargers does not finish in a tie. Because if the Jaguars beat the Colts and Vegas and Los Angeles ends in a tie, it doesn't matter who wins the Ravens and Steelers game. They're out. Colts out. Both teams that tie on Sunday night in. And we talked about it with Brandon Staley this week. He's like, get out of here.
He was very polite.
He was very polite.
He was very polite.
The Vegas Raiders have already chimed in on it as well. Derek Carr saying, quote, someone said we could just take knees and tie if that's the scenario. I was like, well, that kind of sounds good to you, but I don't want to tie those guys either. To me, it will be full focus on beating the Chargers. And I'm pretty confident that's how our whole team feels no matter what. By the way, the Jaguars beating the Colts also unlocks the Lions get the first overall pick scenario as well.
Nice.
And you're sitting there going, yeah, right. Jaguars beating the Colts. Do you know the last time the Colts won in Jacksonville was 2014?
Yeah, it's been a while, right? Yeah.
The quarterback on that day was Andrew Luck, and he threw for 370 yards and 4 touchdowns. And the 4 touchdowns he threw to Kobe Fleener. Remember him?
I do.
You ready? This is good. Mm-hmm. This is good. These are good names that should be said on every show every day. Dwayne Allen caught a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
And then you remember the Colts had some Giants alumni, Hakeem Nicks and Ahmad Bradshaw out of the backfield.
Wow.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeedy do. And just to, for you-know-whats and giggles, let's just go deep into the box score right there. Because on that day, Matt Hasselbeck came in and threw a couple passes.
For the Colts?
For the Colts, because this thing was over. And 14 carries, 57 yards for Trent Richardson. Trent Richardson.
Getting their first-round pick worth.
They sure were. On that day. Last time, the Colts won in Jacksonville. They haven't won. They haven't won since 2014 there. Don't forget, last year when the Jaguars won only one game, it was week 1 against Phillip Rivers and the Colts in Jacksonville. They lost every other game after that. That's how you got Trevor Lawrence.
Foles threw a dime and got hurt on the play.
Win one for Bevel. If they do that, going out the door, it unlocks the door for so much insanity this weekend. So much insanity.
Please,
this
Lord.
weekend.
ESPN's Power Football Index.
Yes, sir.
Rich, 20.8% chance of Jacksonville winning the game.
That's more than a Dumb and Dumber shot. That's 1 in 5, right?
1 in 5. They're a 15-point underdog, but you never know.
32 different permutations in the NFC in terms of who makes it in what order. They make it in 1 through 7 seeding. And part of the reason why that's a low number is that one column's already solid. In the AFC, 256 different permutations on the way 1 through 7 is ordered and who gets in and who does not. Oh, baby. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.